Very good morning, students. Welcome to biology classes. Today we are going to see 12 science biology and we are going to see the next topics of chapter number 30, that is organisms and population. So in the previous video, we have seen about the different types of factors, that is abiotic factors, right? And we have seen that what are the adaptations also. And today we are going to start with the next topic, and this is population, right? So it is a group of similar individuals living in a geographical area, sharing similar resources and capable of interbreeding, right? So what is the definition of population is? So it is a group of similar individuals. That means similar, that is same type of individuals which are living in an area, right? And they are sharing the similar resources amongst themselves and they are capable of interbreeding with each other. That is known as population, right? So the population has certain attributes which individual organisms do not possess. Now see, normal each and every individual does not possess all the attributes, right? So here the population does possess several attributes and there are three. The first is the birth rate per capita births. Second is death rate per capita deaths. The third is the sex ratio, right? So the first is the birth rate per capita births. That means the how many births are taking place, right? So how many birth, what is the birth rate, and it is going to be calculated on the basis of the how many births has taken place. Same way for the death rate is said to be see, there will be several terms which will be used, right? So in the death rate, the death, how many death has taken place, based upon that the death rate is calculated. The third is the sex ratio, that is the ratio of number of males to females in a population, right? So how many males and how many females are present in a particular population, that when that is particularly calculated and of ratio which is been found, that is known as the sex ratio, right? So here these are the three main attributes of the population, that is birth rate, death rate and the sex ratio. Next is the age distribution. Now, you can see different age groups when we are talking about the population, right? So, population can be composed of individuals of different age groups, right? So, there will be presence of different age people in a particular population. The age distribution plot for a given population is given by the age pyramid. So, to understand that how the population is being divided or how the individuals of different age groups are separated, right, or placed into different different groups, so that is we can understand with the help of the age pyramid, right? Next is the structure of the age pyramid determines the growth status of the population, whether it is growing, stable or declining. So now we are going to see this figure shows that whether the growth, see the structure, the particular, this is the structures for the age pyramid, and these are responsible for determining the growth status, right? So the first figure where I'm showing the cursor, this is expanding, that is it is growing, right? Second one shows the stable, that is it is neither increasing nor decreasing, right? The third is declining, that is it is decreasing the growth, right? So now here you can see the three different terms, or we can see the three different growth statuses which are seen over here. First is the post reproductive, second is reproductive, and third is pre-reproductive, right? So the post reproductive, that is after reproduction. Reproductive means at the reproduction part, and pre-reproductive means before the reproduction, right? So before the reproduction, you can see over here there is expanding, which is seen over here. So the yellow color shows the pre-reproductive part, right? Or we can simply say as the phase. Second, the blue color is showing the reproduction part, or we can say the reproduction phase, where the expanding, that is the age, or the age pyramid shows the expanding type of age pyramid shows the increase in it, right? Same way the stable one is also increase in state, but while we are talking about the declining uh, age distribution, right? In that you can see that here is a decrease which is observed in the reproduction phase, right? The third is the post reproductive, that is the age, the different age group, right? So in that, the pink colored you can see over here is the number is comparatively more, that is they are particularly expanding, right? When it is stable at that time, it is neither it is neither expanding or declining, that is neither it is increasing or decreasing. But when we are talking about the declining, it is also going to be just same as the stable, right? So this is the three different types of the age pyramids, right? The expanding type, stable type, and the declining type, right? Based upon the three different age groups, right? The first is pre-reproductive, second is reproductive, and the third one is post-reproductive, right? So if it is asked, then you have to draw these figures and you have to explain about the age distribution. You have to explain these three types of groups, and along with that, you have to explain three types of pyramids, that is expanding, stable, and declining, right? Now, the population size more technically is referred to as population density. Now, normally the population size, now when you are going to calculate, when you want to calculate the population size, right, it is normally referred to a term which is known as population density, which is being denoted by capital N. And this population density, it indicates the number of individuals inhabiting in a particular niche, right? So that means a population density means it is it is calculating, or it is indicating the number of people which are living in a particular area, right? So that is what the population density, and it has been denoted by capital N. If the population is huge, then relative density is measured instead of absolute density, whose measurement is time consuming. Now, normally two types of density is been found. First is the relative density and second is the absolute density. But when the particular absolute density, it takes more time when the more amount of population is there, right? So if the population is more, then the calculation, or yeah, the calculation should be occur, or it should be measured with the relative density, because the absolute density, it takes much more time to calculate the population rate. So this is about the basics of the population, where we have seen about the attributes of population, then we have seen about the age distribution, and now we are going to see the population growth. So in the population growth, the size of a population is an ever-changing aspect, since it depends upon the availability of food, predation, weather conditions, etc. Right? Now over here, when we are talking about the growth of the population, right? See, when a population is growing, when it can be said to be a grown population, so at that time it is not constant, it is changing, it is like changing every single day, but it depends on different criterias, right? So first is the availability of food. So if a proper amount of food is available, right, for the people to eat, then the population may grow. But if there is scarcity of food, then you will see a decrease in the population, because the people die by starving conditions, right? So it is based upon the availability of the food as well as predation. That is, if if any predation which is taking place, then also the people may if the people die, then also the population decreases, right? But if they leave, then the particular it increases, right? So then weather conditions, based upon the weather conditions also. So the size of a population is not constant, it is every day, every single day it is changing, right? And it depends upon several criterias of the environment, that is whether the food is properly available or not, the predation, as well as the weather conditions, and there are so many other conditions also which are responsible or which are affecting the size of the population. Now this gives us an idea whether a certain population is growing or declining. So based upon this criteria, that is what are the aspects, right? So this is the availability of food, predation, weather conditions, and all other things, right? This, based upon this, we can understand, right, that a particular population is growing or declining. That is whether it is growing or it is not growing. So some of the reasons of for the increase or decrease in populations are here, right? So the first is the natality. So natality is what? It is denoted by capital B. And this natality is, that is the number of births during a given period in the given population, right? So the how many births which is taking place in a given time period in the given population, that is known as natality. Same way, mortality means the number of death which is taking place in a given period in the given population is known as mortality. That means how many death is been occurring in a given period of time in the particular given population. This mortality is being denoted by capital D. Immigration is denoted by capital I, where this immigration and immigration, these two of them are different. Don't get confused between these two immigration. They are being pronounced in the similar manner, but their meanings are totally different. So the immigration is the number of individuals of the same species who have come into the habitat from elsewhere during a given period. So someone is entering inside the habitat, then that is known as capital I, that is immigration. And when the number of if someone is going out of the habitat, that is they are leaving the habitat, then in a particular given time period, then it is known as immigration. That is, it has been denoted by capital E. Now, these are the four different types of the reasons where we can check that how the increase or the decrease in the population is taking place. So that is natality, mortality, immigration, and immigration, right? So now if n is the population at time t, then its density at t plus 1 is equals to nt plus 1 is equals to nt plus b plus I minus d plus e. So here through with this reaction or with this equation, you can understand where this capital N stands for the population and the T stands for the time, right? But when normally at time T, if N is the population, then what will be the its density at T plus 1? So at T plus 1, the NT plus, that is the total amount of the population, plus the B, that is the natality, plus I, that is the how many of the people they have entered. So how many is normal population, NT, that is the total population, right? And in that you are adding that how many birth has taken place as well as how many have entered inside the habitat. So how many of have entered that minus how D, that is the mortality rate, right? So that means how many death has taken place, and immigration, that is how many people have left the habitat. So B, that is natality, plus I, that is how many people have entered into the habitat, right? So that ratio minus how many death has taken place and how many have left the habitat. So if we are subtracting them, so we are going to have a value which you are going to add inside the final population, and that will be the particular population at the time t plus 1. So I hope you are very clear with today's topic, and I hope to see you again. Thank you.